So now that we've talked about view models, we are actually going to create the artist view model that we were looking at just a few moments ago. I have a starter document for you that you can download. So you're going to download the zipped file. And I always download to my download folder. I'm going to go ahead and extract. And this one does require migrations. So if we take a look, you will notice there's a migration folder, which means we have a database. So go ahead and run a build. And if you've created some of the music store apps, take a look at app settings. So here is the database name. And if you know you don't have a database with that name, you can go ahead and go into the package manager and do update database. But if you think you may have that database already, we need to make sure the name is unique. Okay, and as long as your database name is unique, you should not have any problems creating that database. So what we're going to be doing is creating a view model. And that view model is going to pull in everything from album and everything from artist. And we are going to go with the standard of creating a view models folder for this. So we're going to right click, add, new folder. I'm going to call it view models. And then we are going to create a class. There it is. And we are going to call the class artist view model. And it's really important that we pull in our models. So it's going to be using musicstore.models. Right, because that is where album and artist are located. And this is super simple. Basically, we are just going to be pulling in album and artist. And because there's more than likely we're going to have multiple rows of data, we are going to be storing them in a list. So we're going to say public, and we'll do list. And we'll start with album. And I'm just going to tab over this and then make the corrections that I need to. And the correction I'm going to make is I don't want albums pluralized. Okay, and then we're going to do another list for artist. And I'm just going to tab, and then I don't want artist pluralized either. Okay, so this is my view model. Kind of simple. Let's save this. And now we're going to do our action method. And we are going to place this in the album controller. Okay, and I'm going to put it right below where we're getting our context, which is what we're going to be accessing that database with. So we are returning an iAction result, which is our view. And this is going to be called artist view. Okay, and so we need an object. And this is going to be a new artist view model object. And so we've got album. equals context dot albums dot to list. Okay, so that's going to retrieve all of the albums that are in our database. And so then below that, such a smart program. We're going to have artist equal context dot artist dot to list. We'll get rid of that comma at the end. And we'll throw in our semicolon here. So data is going to store all of the albums and all the artists. And then what we have to do is pass that data object to our view. Okay, so at this point, we are done with the action method, and we are going to move on to create our view. So this is going to go in the views album folder. And we are going to call it artist view. So let's add a view. And we are calling this artist view. And so first thing we're going to do is connect it to the artist view model. Okay, and let me see, I'm going to get rid of this comment. And we'll do this view data for the title. Artists and albums is what we're going to call it. Which kind of makes sense because that's what the view is going to contain. And while I key in the rest of this, I am pausing the video. All right, so I've keyed in the rest, and as you can see, we have the little grid layout here. And we are looping through artist, and then within each artist, we are looping through all of the albums. We're looking for a match on artist ID, which is the primary key in artist, and it's the foreign key in album. Okay, and if we find a match, we're displaying the album title. So I am saving all this. We're going to run a build. All right, so the error that I was getting is because I had to add using statements for the model and the view model. Now, it all looks good. So at this point, I can go ahead and run this, and I should be able to access the view model. If you check in the layout, you should notice that I already added a navigation entry for artists and albums. And that is what we're going to be checking to make sure this worked. And there it is. So as you can see, we've got the artist, and then it kind of looped through the albums, and it matched up the artist IDs, and it's displaying the appropriate albums.